Let's talk about the US dollar uptrend and the corresponding euro dollar downtrend. I just want to talk from a technical point of view, because from a fundamental point of view, the US dollar should be tracking higher. There's more rate rises to come, and the US dollar is tracking higher on several reasons. One, because interest rates are going higher and higher quicker than most other countries. And number two, the safe haven flow as stock markets melt in front of both of this interest rate rises and a global recession. So the US dollar should continue to dominate from a fundamental point of view. A couple of days ago, I think it was, I said that maybe we've seen the high in the US dollar, being this one here. From a technical point of view, when you get a significant high, such as this one, that is lower than the previous one, then this uptrend is under threat. If you then get a combination of a lower high and a lower low, then you are technically in a downtrend with lower highs and lower lows. So we're waiting for that to confirm. What we want to see is that move here to break that low, and then you could confidently say, okay, this trend is broken and is now attempting to establish a downtrend, and you would have at this stage had, one cycle, two cycles of the downtrend. Now, how many cycles you get overall, that's obviously no one can predict that. But the point being is that this lower high would suggest that this downtrend is your first warning. This uptrend, sorry, is your first warning bell that this uptrend is under threat. But from a fundamental point of view, yes, I see US dollar higher, and that equates to the euro dollar, right? So this trend, which has been happening for best part of 18, almost 2 years, every time you've got a significant high, it's lower than the previous one. Yep. And now we've produced another one, but every time you've got a significant low, each one is lower than the previous one. That one's a double bottom, but as you can see, except for this one. So the question is, are we trying to reverse this downtrend, or are we going to see it re-engage into a new into the current downtrend, and vice versa, the US dollar index? Will this carry on into an uptrend? Sorry, I just have to pause that. So yeah, technically, I'm not sure where we're at. Bit of uncertainty, but fundamentally we should see this higher, and that therefore we should see more lows in the euro. Pound, well, what a shit show. Excuse the French, but overnight we saw the Home Secretary resign, and the Bank of England coming out saying that their quantitative easing is not going to affect the long end. Here we can see the US interest rates exploding higher, breaking out of this previous double top overnight, as they had an auction that didn't perform all that great. But the US long end, the UK long end of the market is weakening, thanks to the Bank of England suggesting that, or telling everybody that quantitative easing, or QE, whatever, is won't be, the bond purchasing program won't be targeting the long end, only the short end of the market, i.e. up to 5-year bonds. So bit of a shambles over in UK and their government. That's putting the most pressure on the bonds. But similarly to the euro getting lower lows all the way across here until this point in time. So ideally it would have been better to break that and suggest an uptrend, but that's not happening. So perhaps we are going to go back and have a look at that 103 level. So that's currencies. Commodities had a terrible session. So Aussie dollar and the commodity currencies were all weaker, but not as weak as the euro and the pound. But here we've got natural gas, we've got iron ore, everything's getting smashed. Oil not so much, but commodity index certainly a lot weaker as global recessions bite and stock markets rolled over. So that Christmas rally I mentioned, the Christmas rally I mentioned is not a guarantee, right? It happens, I think, 70% of the time. and certainly there's a lot of headwinds for it to happen this time with rising interest rates, global recession, inflation. That's not, this kind of scenario has not been seen for many years. So I guess there's good odds that you're not going to get a Christmas rally, but stocks are sort of a bit of a sell-off last night, and in tricky conditions. I wouldn't be buying the Christmas rally until you're starting to see a cycle of higher highs and higher lows, and that we certainly have not seen yet. So that's it, guys. All the best. Good luck with it. Lastly, the UK inflation also came out 10.1%, which was not a surprise. So yeah, a lot of headwinds for the ponds. Canadian inflation around 6%. Aussie jobs today, and Chinese GDP tomorrow. So still some volatility out there. Take care.